Let's focus on a big game coming up, I think, between top four hopefuls, can we call them now? Manchester United against Newcastle United. Nick Mendola is our resident Newcastle expert. Going to come to you because, everyone knew that Newcastle would be good with the players they signed, but I think everyone was like, oh, we didn't realize they'd be this good and be this entertaining to watch. So going into this weekend, they sit in 6th place in the Premier League table, 1 place and 1 point below 5th place Manchester United, who've shown some grit even, after the big defeat that they've suffered against City and big defeats at the start of the season. So what are your thoughts and hopes as a Newcastle fan going into this game against Man United at Old Trafford?
Well, my thoughts are that I wish I could be watching this game with Alan Shearer at FanFest in Philadelphia. I mean, what an incredible opportunity Premier League fans have for that. And I wish I was going to be there. But beyond that, I'm wondering, Eddie Howe is now in an interesting position, and so is Erik ten Hag, early enough in their projects, where last week he stuck with his same lineup, even then Joe Ellinson was available, and he kept Sean Longstaff in there. And that is something that will probably work well in the room, but probably won't work well against Manchester United. You have to put your best team out there. And that's what I'll be monitoring, because going best versus best, the way that Newcastle's been playing, I would expect them to get a point. I know that's a crazy thing to say, but we saw Man United get a little bit more pragmatic once they had the lead against Everton. Really had to hold on there, but most importantly, if you're a United fan, they were prepared to hold on there. So when I look at Newcastle, I want to know what the game plan is. Are they attacking this, or is it just another game in the cycle? Because if you're Newcastle, you have all these new expectations, and are you not looking at this and assessing your season and saying, you know what, there's an opening here. Liverpool's down. Chelsea was down. We expect them to turn it around. Maybe we can hop into the top 7, the top 6 this year. And if that's the case, I think they have to readjust instead of worrying about the vibes in the room.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And Nick brought it up there, Andy, but for Man United, they show more grit and determination than perhaps that obviously they showed at the start of the season. But this team hasn't been really known for that over the last few years. Do you think they are legit top 4 contenders now? I mean, the table says they are, but kind of we all think Liverpool will come back at some point, and then Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City. Is there a space in the top 4 for Man United, do you think? And also on Newcastle, if it isn't top 4, which it may be too early in the project, they definitely kind of could be that West Ham or Leicester we've seen in recent years that are definitely the next best team that could push into the top 6 and qualify for Europe.
Yeah, I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit on Newcastle. Wins over Forest, Fulham, and Brentford. So 2 promoted teams this year and a promoted team last year. You can't draw Brighton, Wolves, Palace, and Bournemouth if you're going to be in a top 4 or a top 6 or 7 conversation. Like, the results, I think, have not quite matched the performance. We just talked about Leeds being the inverse of that. It feels like Newcastle have some positive regression, or some positive regression to come with regards to that. So on United, I think there is a place for him in the top 4 because there is not a clear 4th best team. There are massive questions, I think you could say 4 of those top 6 teams. I think City and Arsenal have separated themselves and shown enough that they have staying power at the top. Spurs, is Conte going to hold them back with the defensive tactics? He just invites entirely too much pressure onto a back line that's not very good and tries to play on the counter with attacking trio that's good at attacking on the counter, but that's the only option for them. Chelsea, I think they are probably situated best for the rest of the season of all those teams because they've got a manager in who actually really fits their style at the moment. It's shocking how much Tuchel's tactics did not fit this team now that we've seen someone else come in. And I think that there's also the obvious questions about Liverpool that we just discussed. So there is a place for United to make that jump. I just think they have to be realistic about who they are and the way that they play. The pragmatic counterattacking approach has worked for them thus far. I know what happened against City, but that's what the squad is right now. And if they want to get into Champions League, have Champions League to offer in the transfer window next summer, have that money to spend next summer, I think that Ten Hag has to bite the bullet for a season and do it, get them over the line. He'll be a hero for it, and then he can start to really build his project in the summer.
Yeah, I like that. I think both these teams, you could say they're very pragmatic right now, as they build these projects. And then Eddie Howe and Eric Ten Hag are both known for playing free-flowing, possession-based football, attacking. And I think they'll get to that stage, but it's going to take a while. And that's a great point on Man United, Andy, because I think you just got to realize what you're good at right now and the players that you have at your disposal right now and say, okay, we're not going to play out from the back all the time. We're going to go more direct, hit teams on the counter, and then we'll get to the end of the season, see where we stack up and go from there and go to the next stage of the project. So really intriguing game there between Man United and Newcastle. Both fan bases, I think, have raised their expectation levels over the last month or so in the season. And let's see how it goes from there.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.